Hey everybody, welcome back to Loanology. Jonathan Wells here, and today I have a special guest. Got Hannah with me here talking about rental properties and property management and everything. Actually, why don't you take it off? Introduce yourself here.
Yeah, I'm Hannah Chapman. I'm the Business Development Manager for Property Management Inc. for Northwest Indiana, or PMI NWI for short. We service the entire Northwest Indiana area, Lake County, Porter, LaPorte. We have a wide range from Gary all the way to LaPorte, Indiana, as low as Lowell. So we cover everything. A lot of my big ambitions is to cover more of Northwest Indiana than we have been.
Nice. I love that. So we got connected through a networking event at the Chamber, I believe. And, you were telling me about what the services that you all offer, and it was actually pretty interesting for me to take to not only, potentially myself, but my clients as well.
Yeah.
So why don't you explain a little bit more about what it is that you guys do?
So we have a full service property management. So what that means is owners are hands off. We take care of everything when it comes to managing their property, screening, placing tenants and tenant move-in, to collecting rents and even tax preparation for them for their documentation. So it's very hands off. Any owners that come to us have that understanding, especially after talking to me, that we handle everything for them. It takes time back to them to worry about or care about the things that they really want to do, but haven't had the time doing, either because they have been self-managing or they're new to this and they have no idea where to begin. So that's where I come into play.
Perfect. I love it. And it's really cool too, practical applications, right? Let's say that, you're somebody that's watching this podcast and you're thinking about moving, maybe moving up, relocating to a new state, whatever, right? And, you're sitting on a 2% interest rate right now, and interest rates currently are between 6 and 7%. So, for you, you might not want to let go of that 2% mortgage rate you have on this home, and you aren't sure, okay, could I rent it out? How much could I get? What does that even look like? That's really where you service a lot of clientele, right?
Yeah, I have a lot of people that I have signed, especially in new constructions. I've been getting a lot of that, especially in the St. John area as well. The gates of St. John, to be specific.
Sure.
But yeah, no, it's weird. There's I bought this house. Sometimes it was during the pandemic when interest rates it was great. So they don't want to let go of it necessarily, and they just don't know where to start. It's just life is working faster than they expected.
Yeah.
And what they're not prepared for. So it's just a way that they can hold on to their property, make it an investment for themselves, and create a passive income for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And I even had a client too that was, he's looking to move to St. John. He had a home in Cherryville, and his neighbor was renting it out for a similar home for about $3,500 a month. The home that he currently lives in, I believe that he owned it free and clear. So he didn't have a mortgage on it, nothing. It was just taxes. And so he'd be making, most of that $3,500 a month would be going to him, because his expenses are pretty minimal on that. So he was looking at, okay, what's my cash flow if I buy this new $700,000 house in St. John? And I put down 20% versus me putting down 40 or 50% if I sell my home. And the cash flow was, I think it was about even, maybe slightly higher towards him renting out the property.
Yeah.
And, I was also explaining to him as well, I'm like, right now, this is what your property's worth, and rates are 6 or 7%.
Yeah.
As rates move lower, which they eventually will, your home's most likely going to continue to improve in value because it's more affordable at lower interest rates.
Yeah.
And so I was like, if you rent it out now, I told him to consult with his accountant because I'm not a tax professional by any means. But last I heard, you only have to live in that home for 2 out of the last 5 years. 2 or 3 of the last 5 years, and you are, and you can sell it and not pay capital gains on that property.
Yeah.
So essentially for him, he could potentially get 2 to 3 more years worth of appreciation out of that property and rental income before he's able to sell it off without a tax liability.
Yeah, it kind of gets them in a nice little, I call it the safety egg of when they're ready to go that route. And we get a lot of real estate referrals, actually. where we have that agent referral program. So we're not taking the client away necessarily. We're just presenting an option for that time being until they decide what exactly they want to do with the property, and they're not losing money on it while they're deciding that.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing.
Well, so explain that too, because I know there's going to be a lot of agents that are watching this that are maybe concerned, okay, if my client decides not to list their house right away, they want to rent it, from there, do I lose that listing, right?
No, you don't necessarily lose it. So if you refer a client to us, if you're a real estate broker, you're referring someone to us, what happens is you get 3 months of our management fees paid in one lump sum for the referral. And when they are ready to, let's say, you know what, I'm ready to be rid of this property. I'm finally at the point now where this is a reality for us and it's plausible and doable for us. Then I send them right back to the agent that referred them to us.
Okay.
So it's not, even though we do have real estate brokers in our office, because you have to be a managing brokerage in order to do property management. It's a legality thing.
Oh, for sure.
But the biggest thing is I'm the one that presents the program. I'm not licensed at all.
Okay.
So the threat's gone there when I'm the one going into real estate offices and brokerages and discussing this. So it's a win-win. It's a mutually beneficial partnership. I think we need to be holding hands with the real estate community because we're all in real estate in one way or another.
Right.
So it's just a good partnership and a good avenue that even real estate brokers may have never thought about before.
Nice.
For their business.
Yeah, I love it. And it's, I think that if you're a real estate professional watching this, you need to have every trick in the book available right now.
Absolutely.
You have to have a person for almost any scenario. So I think that this is, again, a really good idea for people who can afford to purchase a new home without needing to sell their existing. They're able to collect some rent to offset, their payments and everything on that potential mortgage that they're departing from. And then again, get 2 to 3 more years of appreciation and make some more money off of it.
Absolutely. And I have softwares that are available to me because of the company I work for. Brad Messina, our managing partner, is fantastic and giving me these resources to utilize, especially with investors. So they may not necessarily fall under the definition of investor or going in investments. They probably don't have a large portfolio. The reason why Brad purchased the PMI corporate brand is so that we could cater to smaller investors that have a single family home, for example, or a townhouse. Is so that we can open up our avenues to smaller investors, because even if you have one property, you're an investor. So it's just it's another avenue. So there's a lot of different people that fit into this framework.
Perfect.
One way or another.
No, I love it. So let's see how easy and how quickly, I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Oh, okay.
How easy and how quickly can I get a rental calculation as a consumer? Right.
Oh, pretty quickly. We have our rent range reports that we provide. Again, it's an algorithm estimate. It has all the property data that's out there. So for newer construction, I have to tweak the system a little bit because it's new construction. It has no data on that space being used as properties being built on it. So I have to tweak it a little bit with the parameters of the property. It's like such as square feet, bed, bath, and stuff. So
I love it.
Yeah.
Can we pull up a property right now and check
sure
it out?
Can,
All right, perfect. Let's do it. So
I'll have 2 reports. I'll have a Discover. That's for more of my investment crowds, but it's set to 10-year hold on your property and what you could be getting a return on your investment for if you were to rent it. So I have 2 different reports I can provide.
Okay, perfect. So first off, what's your website?
Our PMIs.
Yeah.
It's a PMI NWI.com.
PMI NWI.com. All right, cool. So I'm not going to do it through here right now, but if you go, for the people that are watching, if you go type in PMI NWI.com, pulls right up here, their website. First thing I see is free rental analysis.
Yes.
So you click on that, and then it's going to take you to this page where you enter in your property address, hit submit, and then it's probably going to ask you for your contact information to get the report over to you.
Possibly, yeah. Your phone number, your address, but that's how we get leads. So
in what, less than 2 minutes, you can submit a request?
You type it in and just make sure the attributes are correct and accurate to your property, and then you can just update attributes if they're not, and then boom, you have a full PDF report. You have about a 4 to 5 page report given to you.
Perfect. So then let's check out. So let's assume that I did that. We're going to check out this property here. Let me know when you're ready, and I can have you.
I was born ready.
All right, perfect. 6941 Van Buren Street.
Okay.
So
Based in Maryville.
yeah,
Okay. So let me just pull it up here.
perfect. And I just Googled like homes for sale in Indiana and like Maryville, Indiana, and then took like the first one off of this. So
Absolutely. Working off the cuff. I love it.
exactly.
So I'm just going to do the method just for time's sake. Going through the website, it's one of our tabs, free rental analysis. You just click on there. And then what was the address again?
6941 Van Buren Street.
And it should automatically like pop up for you. So you see Maryville right there. So you don't even have to put in the full address. It may automatically populate for you.
Perfect.
All right. And then this is where you just put basic information in, like, oh, how many beds are.
So 3 beds,
Okay.
1 bath, 1853 square feet. And single family.
All right. Yeah. So basically it has you put in, I'm just saying, this property information, bed, bath, square feet. I use the local assessor for that property. It'd be Lake County for Maryville to get, and I look at property cards too, because it has more accurate. So it might be on Zillow, it might say like 1 bath, but it may actually be like 1 1/4 or something like that. So I want to make sure that the parameters are set accurately. But then you put in your contact information. So I'm just going to put Hannah Chapman so they know it's me, not a new lead. So that basically anyone that does this, I get a phone call right away that they are entering this information. I can follow up with them. It's very nice. All right. And then you are left with any comments like, hey, I'm moving, or you can give your situation in the comments. So then we have some foundational knowledge. When the lead comes through, you put your mailing address for any information. So let me just put that in. I'll just put mine. All right, and then you just send the free report. If it lets me.
Right. Let's see. Is there anything that you're missing on there?
I don't think so.
Okay. Oh, there you go.
It's because I'm getting a call.
There you go. Nice.
All right. So I think it already sent. I think that was me. That is catching up on. Oh, it looks like it's working here. So it should pull up the PDF file that you can save to your computer. Again, the market changes every single day.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just what it looks like today. And then we can go through it. The biggest thing that I look at on these reports are the comparable for rent properties information. Mm-hmm. It's huge. Again, this is an algorithm estimate. There's a confidence score that's attached to it. The confidence is meaning honestly how confident the machine is in giving you that rent estimate. So all I have to do is go into my email, and then it should have the full report. The comparable for rent properties means these are properties that have active leases currently. They have tenants on their property, and these are properties directly surrounding yours or the one that you're inquiring about. And it shows what those tenants are paying for rent. So it's a really good comprehensive market analysis of what active tenants on active leases are paying. But then we also use Zillow and other websites of active listings where they are vacant and don't have tenants, and what they are doing for rents. How long has it been on the market? They probably priced too high, or they're below market. I know a lot of self-managers are often below market when I speak with them. So let's see. Okay.
Perfect.
So it should be right here, and you just pull it up. Let's see where it's at here. So I got an email from PMI NWI. It says rental analysis for 6941 Van Buren, and you have the PDF directly attached.
I love it. So how much are we getting in rent?
So the rent range estimate with a 90% is pretty confident is $1,595 a month for that. So what you look also into, it also gives you an estimated vacancy rate. So vacancy rate is how many units or properties are vacant compared to the total unit property portfolio you have. So it says 7% on that, but we don't really go off of that. We really look at the comparable for rent properties, like I said. So it shows your properties right here. These are all the surrounding active leases surrounding that property you're inquiring about. We're right by Innsbruck Country Club area, Maryville here. And you can see that we're in line. That estimate is in line with what active leases are. But we don't just go off of that. We go off of what is the market looking like right now. And so a prime example is going on to Zillow. And that's my main source, but I go to other listing websites, Facebook Marketplace, seeing what in that general area people are charging for rent. Because just because someone else is doing it doesn't mean that you should be doing it. I've seen a house that was like for $5,000 should not have been $5,000 a month. And there's a reason why you're 60 days on the market. No one's going to do that. So I just put in the rent, make sure I'm on the rent side of things on the Zillow, and then I put in just Maryville in general, the general area, because I know where it is exactly. I know we're looking at Innsbruck Country Club area. So there's several rentals that are out. Some of them might be ours or our own competitors sometimes, which is always nice. It's like the fight with ourselves, So basically there's a lot of different places here. You want to also look at home type too. Obviously we don't want to do like apartments or townhouses because that doesn't apply to a single family home. So I'm just going to exclude those. I'll keep townhome just in case because some townhomes have more square footage than a single family ranch style, right? So it just shows all these different properties that we have under those parameters. So we're looking at a 3-bedroom, 1-bath. There's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath here for $2,200. It's just gotten on the market 4 days ago, so we're not really sure if that is where it needs to be, but we always do within a 200 range. Our leasing team is ultimately the ones that decide on what rent point we should go at, but we also take into consideration what the property owner's looking at.
Perfect. I love it. And so, okay, so let's say that range, you said it was around what, $1,500 a month or 15?
Yep. So the report, like I said, let's see here, is saying the 1595. So I would accurately, I always manipulate these reports and put the PMI NWI range after I've consulted with our leasing team. I've gotten pretty confident with it so far, coming into it and just doing it on my own. But if it's a little trickier, like a multifamily, that's like a house that's been put into 3 units, it's a little bit more complex, then I'll talk with our managing partner or our leasing team to get more accurate range for that property. But I would probably put this in the 1550 to 1750 range.
Okay, perfect. So let's say 1595, let's just use that as an example, right? I was running a calculation here while you were doing that, assuming the person purchased this home for $155,000, which probably isn't out of the realm of possibility in Maryville over the last couple of years. They have bought it. Let's say you've been in your house for 5 to 10 years. You probably bought it for a price around that if you're selling it for about $220 right now,
Yeah.
And then assuming that you at least either you got a good rate when you purchased or you refinanced, and let's say you're at 3.99, which is still kind of high for, I think, a lot of the target demographic that we're dealing with here. Your mortgage payment for property taxes, home insurance, everything, you're at $1,055 a month. So obviously there are some things that may increase in your mortgage payment when you do depart that residence and whatnot.
And that's considered your operating costs there because that's your day-to-day of managing the property.
Right.
So those are your regular expenses. So those would go into your operating expenses when you're computing your overall gross property income and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's say, it shows that the difference between those two payments, what you're, assumed to receive versus what we're assuming you're paying out for your mortgage, is $540 a month, right? Now, obviously, there's more costs than just your mortgage. When you're renting a property, you're going to have, you guys obviously charge a property management fee. You're going to have, again, your taxes may increase, your home insurance may increase on those properties when they become rentals.
Yes.
So that spread's going to get eaten up a little bit, but I still think that the $1,595 is probably on the low end of that calculation that you were just showing me.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is a lot of times this isn't, you're not making like 20 grand a year off of one rental property. You're more so getting tax benefits through depreciation that you can use for that property against your personal income taxes. Again, consultant accountant. I'm not an accountant. I just know some things that you can Google yourself, right? But yeah, so there's going to be benefits that way. You can also keep that property. A lot of this would, I would assume, be somebody's first home that they bought. So maybe they have children that they want to have their children buy that home from them one day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or give that home to their kid one day to help them out.
Right.
Or maybe they want to if they do this, they keep house hacking. So every couple of years they move up into a new property and they rent out the existing one. You can build a rental portfolio that way. Or even, like we talked about earlier, riding the appreciation wave. Home values are still like the highest they've ever been. Their, appreciation is still slowly creeping up. But again, if rates move lower, then you'll see home values continue to rise, maybe at a more significant rate. So if you wait 2 years, maybe you can make an extra, 15 to 20 grand on that house, and it doesn't cost you anything to keep it because you're breaking even or making a slight profit when you're renting it out. So these are things to keep in consideration, whether you're somebody who's looking to move up from your existing home, or even if you're a real estate agent who has clients that are in that position too. Definitely things to be looking at and considering all your options.
Absolutely. Besides the rent range report, also I have the Discover. It's a whole overall property analysis. This is what I use for mainly my investors or my investment inclined smaller investors. So it basically gives you a 10-year hold of your property and what you're looking at cap rate wise, which is your capitalization rate, your cash on cash, your return on your investment. So I have been using this with my more investor clients. It's another avenue. I have a lot of out of state. Hence why we're full service. We're boots on the ground. We're local because the majority of our property owners are now out of state, or they have been out of state when they purchased and invested in our communities. So that is another upside to us in our company. But let's say you put for this home, it's showing if I have a 10-year hold on the 6941 Van Buren, I put 25% down, which is the typical. When you're purchasing a property, you're looking at a 5.4% cap rate there. It's saying negative 2.5% on cash, but your IRR is at 8.5%. So it just takes you through overall financials, what you're looking at in terms of your cash flow each month on that rental property to each year. So it gives you your effective rental income, your total expenses, your annual cash flow. It kind of gives you a nice little foundation and accumulation of wealth, a projection of that as well. So you can kind of look at a 10-year outlook on your property as well if you decide to make it a rental.
Perfect. I love it. Awesome. Well, is there anything else that you want to go through today, on what you do, who you are, how you can help the consumer or the realtor?
I'm the first point of contact. So I call myself the weird side arm of Brad. I'm basically doing what he did starting his own business. I think what it's important to recognize and realize is that our managing partner, Brad Messina, is an investor himself. He's used his own portfolio in our model, and it's experience built processes. The mistakes have been made, absolutely. If we ever make mistakes, I think the biggest thing is if we drop the ball, we take it personally, we rectify it, and we modify our processes every time. We're departmentalized, which is very non-traditional in a property management company, and everyone's specialized in the role that they are in. And I think that's crucial, especially for a positive work environment and team morale as well. There's a clear chain of command and knowledge in the teams that everyone is part of. So we just take the stress away. We're very extensive with our tenant screening process. I think that's huge. It's like, well, this was my home. Now I'm making a rental. I don't want just any old schmo on my property. I think the tenant part is what is the most nerve-wracking part for people newly making their properties into rentals. And that's something that you don't have to worry about with us. We're very extensive with credit history, as well as criminal background record, eviction. We have a minimum of credit score of 580 and above when you're applying. We just go through that. Sometimes we can have conditions or contingencies with certain applicants, but we're so thorough. So we only have a 2.8% eviction rate. So it's very low.
Oh, wow. That's super low.
We have programs that protect against eviction as well. So if it's only $5 a month per unit, and we take care of all the legal costs for uncontested evictions, especially if we place the tenant. So
Cool. I love it. Awesome. Well, where can people find you?
We are based in Maryville. We actually moved to our new office at 101 West 79th Avenue. It's exciting. We just moved. We had our first official office day on Monday. So we have the space now, and it's fantastic. But you can also reach me at hannah@pminwi.com. You can go straight to our website at www.pminwi.com, or you can contact me directly at 219-292-4955.
Perfect. I love it. Well, thank you so much for sharing everything.
No problem.
And yeah, definitely check them out if you guys are looking to rent out your departing residence, or if you're looking to pick up a rental portfolio. You definitely need to have a property manager. It takes a lot of stress off of yourself, which everyone. The reason why people buy rentals is to have that money coming in, and they don't have to worry about it. It's just automatic. So why would you deal with the headache? Just let them deal with it and get it done, son. So thank you all. Appreciate it, and we'll talk soon.
Bye.